Hey there, sages. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a great week. It's been a little nippy here in Wilmington and other places around the country. So I hope you're doing well, especially a shout out to all the sage sisters in Texas and in areas that have been harder hit by the winter weather. We're thinking of you. So I wanted to jump in here and go over what we've been talking about all week, which is the client journey map. Now, through the week, we've talked about the three stages of the client journey, the client attraction, and then the client conversion, hey Terry, and then the client retention. So along the way, we're looking at how to woo and wow, basically attract and engage those clients in that front end client attraction. And then as we move people through, as they get to know us, we're looking at all the ways to build the trust with the people that we want to work most with. And this is a longer game. I keep talking about this week after week, that this is pretty much a longer game, and it's about building those relationships. So all along, we're cultivating relationships and doing these things that are really deepening and bolstering and securing in the mind of the person who's looking to us and following us and kind of keeping their eye on us as they build that trust and decide whether or not they want to keep moving forward. So as they go from that woo and wow, basically attract and engage, we go to that next stage of nurture and client conversion. Now this is where the long piece happens. So just because someone jumps on and follows you on social, or even downloads your freebie, or jumps on a discovery call with you, doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to take their credit card out and work with you. And I think this is the part where we're looking at begin with the end in mind. So you can see I have an acronym. So for Angela, Joe, and Nicole, and all my other like-minded acronym lovers out there, the end is standing for engage, nurture, and deliver. So I've got some notes in the post below that's talking about why these things, just bringing up these questions. Why is engagement so important as we're in this relationship building phase of securing a client? I think if people only see that they're a means to our end, that doesn't bode well for us. It means they're just going to keep moving. No one wants to be sold. People want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to know that, here's a situation that I've got, and they're trying to figure out, are you the best person to help me get there? Are you going to help me secure that transformation I'm longing for? I need a solution to this. If I could have figured it out myself, I would have figured it out by now, but I'm still kind of stuck. Or I still just need kind of to get things out of the way. Are you the person that's going to help me do that? And this is where the engagement is the trust builder. And it helps people know, just keep coming with me. Hang with me. This is why mastery of what we do is so critical, because we do not want to just be like a Pied Piper and have people just following us down the road to nowhere. We need to be leading people, even if they don't work with us yet, even if they don't work with us ever, that we would have taken them one step along further in the road to where they want to go. So this is the important part of engagement. It is deepening those relationships. I said this before, and Deb, knows this very well. Deb Cordry, as we both follow Ryan Dice, he was the first one I heard say, nobody wants to marry you on the first date. And can you imagine, trying to do all of this with, trying to get married with no dating, no courtship, no depth of engagement. It just wouldn't work, right? So this is the part where we need to get in there and we need to say, okay, I'm making this a part of it. And rather than always looking through the lens of ROI and return on my investment of time, energy, or whatever, start to look at ROI, or what's my return on my relationships? Because this is where the social currency and the long road and being known and being trusted just comes back and pays you in dividends, more than just a one-off, I'll buy what you're peddling, right? So this is the part of it where engagement is a longer game. It's a deepening of things, but so very worth it. I'll be talking about this more next week when I talk about Kairos living and I talk about my time in the Middle East, because I learned this so much in an Arabic neighborhood, and I brought this back and parked it right in my business, and then let that be pervasive in the business. I'll never ever see anything but good in that. So the next thing is that deepening and cultivating and nurturing the relationship goes beyond getting the sale. So here's the thing, if it's just kind of like almost, like one and done, they get the sale, they get what they needed, they're in and they're out, you're not going to have that traction. You're not going to have that deepening. And this is why it's the before, during, and after of whatever stage or phase that person is with you, whether they're in the attraction phase, conversion, retention, or they've moved along. Are you top of mind? Would they refer you? Did they have a great experience with you at any stage along the way? I've had people who never even paid me $1, and I've said this before, be kind of like a company evangelist and shouting me out because they felt like, there was so much value they got when they didn't even work with me yet. So this is why the deepening, cultivating, nurturing, going from engage to nurture is so important, and understanding it's a longer game, okay? The shortest sales cycle, I always say, I'm going to run in, buy a coffee, slap down the $250, walk away with the coffee. That's not what we're doing, right? Especially if we're coaches, consultants, service providers, if we're in that expert space, we need a higher trust build right there. So this is going to happen, and it's going to take some time. And I think, when we're hearing all of these, like, this can happen overnight, I don't think so. That's not been my experience, and I certainly don't want to tell anybody that either. I really want to help people understand that longer game is going to pay you back over and over again. So we need clarity then about the benefits and the transformations gained by working with you. What's the deal? Why should you work with me? Will you get the clarity you need to showcase your expertise? Will I help you position all of that so you can run it along the train tracks of your marketing? These are the kinds of things that if you're coming to work with me, are you going to come through to clarity and confidence about what you're delivering in the marketplace? These are the kinds of things, the transformation, listening. What is the hope for transformation? What does my client really need? And you know what? If it's not going to happen with me, I have no business taking that and taking that sale. Instead, I want to make sure that I refer that. Hey, Deb, I'm so glad you jumped in here. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. I know you've had a full day, but I appreciate you taking some time to be here. So this is the part about cultivating that with the transformation and the benefits, not just the features. Hey, we'll get on for 1 hour. You'll get 45 minutes of this. You'll get 2 workbooks. That's all the features. It's the benefits. The why behind the what of working together, and this is what is so critical. And then avoiding that one-size-fits-all approach, trying to, to a hammer, everything's a nail. We don't want to do that. Even if we have fixed deliverables and a certain way of doing things and a framework and something signature, I want you to be able to come to me, and based on what is you need, I want to think boutique. I want to be able to tailor that to your needs, so that when you walk away, your marketing doesn't feel like you're doing someone else's marketing. It's for you. It's signature to you. It's in alignment with you. So this is how we need to look at it. How can I take what I'm doing, so I'm really listening to my client and bringing them along in that nurture phase, which is going to be so important. I'm beginning with the end in mind, realizing, yes, I'm going to attract them, and then, okay, well, then I'm going to get in a nurture conversation, and then it's probably going to be more where that came from, more nurture, until they are ready to buy. Not when I'm ready to sell to them, but when they are ready to buy. Then we're going to move on to that next phase of deliver, engage, nurture, deliver. And this is where having that range of packages and pricing, and I always say, how can you let your client get on the train at any station? What do you have that's low tier, mid tier, high tier, a hybrid, so that they feel like this is the space for them? And then if you do not have anything for them, they can move along in confidence that you sent them on their way with their next best step that they should take. So having that range allows you to widen the circle of influence. It allows you to up your income. It allows you to be able to offer something lower till the trust is built and they're ready to do something more. There's all of that. And then we've got to make sure that that deliverable, everything we said from attract and engage, everything we said when we did the attract and engage has got to come through when we go to nurture and we go to deliver. We cannot, you know how it is, once you become a client, we don't want that feeling, yeah, I told you I loved you already. No, we want to know that it wasn't just when we were dating in the marketing phase that it was all like candy and roses. And no, we want that to be able to hold fast, and even to be able to what do you say, under promise and over deliver, like wow them on the back end as well. They got wowed when they first met you, and they're even more wowed when they're working together with you, because you're bringing such great value. There's such tremendous opportunity for them as you deliver on your promise, and they start to move things forward, and they start to gain the traction and see the solutions they've hoped for, see the transformation and the breakthroughs they hope for. That is just tremendous. And this is why we begin with the end in mind. You can almost reverse engineer it and start with the deliver piece first and say, this is what they would have achieved or acquired by the time we're done together. And then here's how I'll nurture to get them there. Here's how I'll engage to get them to nurture. Here's how I'll attract and engage them, and just bring them along in that way. So I've got a really fun content bundle and training that's coming up for you next week. I'm putting the whole thing together, and I'll make sure that you have that, because this is so critical to everything we're doing as we build our businesses. We've got to get this client journey map intact, and we've got to get clear on it, and then we've got to be able to say, oh, this is where this person is in the journey. This is where that person is in the journey, so that we're sure of that. We're sure of where they are, and we're not trying to make them farther down the road than they are, assuming they're farther down the road, or assuming that they don't want something when they do. We've got to get clear on that. So I've got that training coming up for you. A couple of other fun things. I've got to connect and collaborate on Tuesday. That's for 4 women business owners who have a message they want to share. It's a peer-to-peer mastermind. As the Global Business Connector with Women Speakers Association, I host these twice a month. So if you are interested in connecting with us on the Connect and Collaborate, I'd love to see you on Tuesday. That's at 12. The book club is on Wednesday at 12, and we are working on chapters 4, 5, and 6 in the book Body of Work by Pamela Slim. On Friday, I'll be back here live with you again, and I'll be talking about Kairos living in a Chronos world, lessons I learned in an Arabic neighborhood. I'll be talking about one of my favorite Arabic phrases, ask about the neighbor before you ask about the house. So that is next Friday at 3. And I think that's pretty much all I've got. We've got a free share post that's coming up at 4:30 telling us about your weekly wins. Please be sure to jump in there. If you've got something going on and you want the Sage community to know about it, please go ahead and drop a link in there so that they know that they can follow you or sign up or subscribe or whatever it is you'd like the Sage community to know about. Sometimes these weeks are not so great. Sometimes we're on a bumpy road and maybe just need some Sage Sister support. So when that post comes out, don't be afraid to say, you know what, I could really use some words of encouragement. Could you pray for me? Could you, I could use a call. Just reach out to this community, and so we can stand for one another. I'm especially thinking of our Sage sisters who are in Texas and other areas that have been hardest hit by this weather. So I want you to know you're in our thoughts and prayers, and please let us know that you're okay. We'd love for you to drop a link and just say, hey, I'm okay. I think it was Carmen who put that she was in, what did she call it, Dalaska, Texas, because it's so cold there. So we want to know how you're doing. So make sure you post something there. And I think that's all I've got. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope you are enjoying learning more about the client journey map. I'm putting myself right through the paces as I'm talking to you. I'm upping my game in all of these things. So I hope you're finding it helpful. I put an article in there yesterday about things you may not be doing to nurture your clients in that nurture phase. So go find it. I printed mine out, and I'm just going to use it. I don't know where it is now, but I think here it is. I printed mine out, and I'm just going to use it like a checklist. I'm just going to go through and figure out which of these things I need to really improve upon to make this better for my clients. So it's the 10 things you're not doing to nurture your clients. So it's right below in the articles from yesterday. Go find it. And that's all I've got. Thanks so much for hanging with me today. Whether you're live on the replay, I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.